My name is Lily. Growing up in a quiet suburb in Michigan where houses look perfect from the outside, but inside, ours, it was a constant storm of unfairness. I was always the forgotten one, while my younger sister Grace got all the love, attention, and everything she pointed at. She's 2 years younger than me, but from the day she was born, it was like I faded into the background for mom and dad. They went from treating me like their little princess to barely noticing I existed once Grace came along. I remember being 4 years old playing with my dolls in the living room when Grace, as a toddler, knocked over my tower of blocks. Mom rushed in, not to help me rebuild, but to comfort Grace, who wasn't even crying, just laughing at the mess. "Oh, poor baby, did that scare you?" Mom cooed, picking her up and kissing her chubby cheeks while I sat there staring at my ruined creation, feeling a tiny pang in my chest that I didn't understand yet. That pang grew over the years, becoming a constant ache as the favoritism became more obvious, more painful. Birthdays were the worst reminder of how unbalanced our family was. For Grace's 5th birthday, they threw a massive party in the backyard with a bounce house, clowns, face painters, and even a magician who pulled rabbits out of hats. The air smelled like cotton candy and popcorn. Kids from her preschool ran around screaming with joy. Balloons floated everywhere, red, blue, yellow, twisting in the wind. Mom baked a 3-tiered cake with pink frosting and Grace's name in sparkling letters. Dad grilled burgers and hot dogs. The whole neighborhood seemed to be there celebrating her. But when my 7th birthday came a few months later, it was nothing like that. Mom said, "We're keeping it small this year, honey. Times are tight." So it was just a store-bought sheet cake from the grocery store with a few candles stuck in haphazardly and a quick happy birthday song before everyone went back to their own things. Grace complained the cake was too vanilla, and Mom immediately cut her a bigger piece with extra frosting while I sat there blowing out my candles, wishing silently for just one day where I was the center of attention, where I felt special too. But wishes don't come true in families like mine, where one child shines and the other is left in the shadows. School made the differences even starker, even more hurtful. Grace got endless praise for every little thing she did, even if it was mediocre, like when she brought home a report card with mostly C's and a few B's. Mom hugged her tight, saying, "Oh, sweetie, you're working so hard. I'm so proud of you. Let's get ice cream to celebrate." But when I came home with straight A's, excited to show them my perfect scores, all I got was a quick glance and a nod. "Good job, Lily. Keep it up, but don't let it go to your head. There's always room for improvement." They missed my school plays where I had lead roles because Grace had a dance recital the same night, or skipped my soccer games where I scored the winning goal for her piano lessons that she barely practiced for. "Grace needs us more. She's so sensitive and artistic. You understand, Lily. You're tough. You'll be fine on your own." But I wasn't. It broke something inside me each time, making me question my worth. Why did they choose her every single time? Why wasn't I sensitive enough or artistic enough to deserve their time and love? I tried harder than ever, studying late into the night under my blanket with a flashlight so Grace wouldn't complain about the late. Volunteering at animal shelters, joining debate club, art club, anything to prove I was worthy of notice. But nothing changed. No matter how many awards I brought home or how perfect my grades were, they always found a way to make it about Grace or dismiss it as expected from me. By middle school, the favoritism turned into outright neglect in ways that cut deeper. I started noticing how Grace got new clothes, shoes, backpacks every season, looking like she stepped out of a catalog, while I wore hand-me-downs from cousins or thrift store finds that never quite fit right. When I asked for a new pair of jeans because mine had holes in the knees, Mom sighed and said, "We can't afford extras, Lily. Be grateful for what you have. Grace needs new outfits for her social events. You don't want her to feel embarrassed, do you?" But I was the one embarrassed showing up to school in faded, too small clothes, while Grace strutted in the latest trends. I worked odd jobs, babysitting, mowing lawns, saving every penny to buy my own things, feeling proud when I finally got that pair of jeans with my own money. Parents said, "That's good, Lily. It builds character. You're learning responsibility early."
while Grace threw tantrums if her allowance was a day late and got extra just to stop her whining. One time I saved for months to buy a used bike, excited to ride around the neighborhood like other kids. They said, "Nice, Lily, but be careful, don't scratch it up." But when Grace wanted a bike, a few weeks later, they bought her the shiniest new model with bells, lights, and a basket painted her favorite color pink. I felt like an outsider in my own home, always second, always less, always having to prove I deserved basic things while Grace got them handed to her on a silver platter. It made me resentful, bitter, but I kept it inside, smiling through the pain, thinking if I complain, they'll love me even less. High school was when the unfairness really boiled over, becoming impossible to ignore. I studied hard, got straight A's, joined clubs, volunteered at soup kitchens, anything to stand out to make them see me. But they barely noticed, too busy with Grace's cheer practice or her latest drama with friends. I missed out on normal teen stuff like parties or dates because I worked after school at the local cafe, saving every tip for college, knowing they wouldn't help me. Grace got a brand new phone for safety reasons, while I used an old flip phone that barely texted. When I won a state award for a science project, Mom said, "That's nice, Lily, keep working hard." But when Grace made the cheer squad, they threw a celebration dinner, inviting her whole team, cooking her favorite foods, toasting to her success. I sat there smiling, clapping along, but inside it felt like a knife twisting. Why her? Always her. What about me? I started dating a guy named Ethan in junior year. He was sweet, funny, the kind who listened when I talked about my dreams, supporting me through late study nights. We shared plans about college, future careers, maybe even marriage one day. But Grace always flirted with him when she thought I wasn't looking, touching his arm, laughing too loud at his jokes, batting her eyelashes like it was a game. I ignored it at first, telling myself, sisters tease like that, it's harmless, no big deal. But it planted seeds of doubt that grew quietly, making me question if Ethan really liked me or if he was just being polite. Then came the day that shattered my world. I was 17, coming home from a double shift at the cafe, my feet aching from standing all day, my uniform smelling like grease and coffee, dreaming of a hot shower and my soft bed. But when I opened my bedroom door, it was empty. My clothes, books, posters, everything packed into cardboard boxes, stacked neatly in the hallway like trash waiting for pickup. "What's going on?" I asked, heart pounding, as I rushed to the kitchen where Mom, Dad, and Grace sat at the table eating dinner as if nothing was wrong. Mom looked up, smiling brightly like she was delivering exciting news. "Grace is starting her senior year. She needs her own space for studying and focusing, so we're giving her your room. It's her dream to have a private sanctuary where she can really thrive." Dad nodded, adding, "You're 17, Lily, almost an adult. It's time for you to figure things out on your own. Spread your wings, learn independence." Grace avoided my eyes, fidgeting with her fork, not saying a word, just staring at her plate. "Where am I supposed to live?" I begged, voice breaking, tears welling up, feeling the ground tilt under my feet like an earthquake. Mom laughed lightly. "Oh, Lily, you're so dramatic. Call some friends, get a job. You're resourceful and smart. You'll manage just fine. We know you can." They helped load the boxes into Dad's old truck, drove me to a bus stop downtown, the sky darkening with storm clouds, handed me $150 from Mom's purse, saying, "This should get you started. Love you, kid," Dad muttered, patting my shoulder awkwardly, before getting back in the truck and driving away, leaving me there alone as rain began to fall, cold and relentless, soaking through my clothes. I sat on that hard metal bench, sobbing, clutching my bags, feeling utterly abandoned, worthless, confused. Why wasn't I worth keeping? Why her dream over my basic need for a home? Why did they choose her again and again without a second thought? That night, I called a few friends, but no one could take me long term. Their parents said sorry, but we can't afford another mouth to feed. Ended up at a women's shelter, the intake worker kind but tired, leading me to a bunk bed in a room with strangers. The mattress thin, lumpy, smelling like bleach and old sweat. I lay there staring at the ceiling, tears silent now, wondering if this was my life now. Homeless, forgotten, because my sister wanted privacy. Days blurred into survival mode, crashing on couches when I could, begging for extra shifts at work to afford food, bus fare, anything. Found a cheap studio apartment above a noisy bar, the walls thin enough to hear arguments from neighbors, the air always reeking of smoke and stale beer. But it was mine, a space no one could take away. I worked 2 jobs, waitress during days, cashier at nights, barely sleeping, eating cheap ramen, studying for GED in stolen moments between exhaustion. Grace texted once, "Sorry, Lily, but I really needed the room. Hope you're doing okay." Parents, nothing. Not a call, not a text, not even a, "How are you surviving out there?" Holidays came. I spent Thanksgiving alone in my studio, watching families on TV gather, laugh, share turkey, wishing for just one person to remember I existed. They chose her. Fine. I'd choose me. Build my own path. Prove I didn't need their love or support to succeed. 2 years passed, struggling but determined. I enrolled in community college on grants, majoring in business,